Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Core Java tutorials. Today we'll see basic structure of Java program. Any program of any programming language will be following certain syntax and structure of the language. So likewise, even if you want to write a Java program, you have to follow certain rules that the language provides. So we'll just see what will be there in a basic Java program. The first one is documentation section. Documentation section means that including single line comments or multi-line comments. Okay, so you can include single line comments or multi-line comments. This is optional. Okay, so why we write comments is to increase the readability of the code. So if you want comments, you can include, else you can ignore this. The next is package statement. This is also optional. So the package statement will be written with a keyword that is called as a package. So package followed by the name of the package. So say I am having a package which is called as a student, and there are some classes inside the student package that I will be using in my current program. So if I want to include certain classes from this package in my current program, I will be importing or I'll be including that package inside my program like this. This is also optional. If you want to use some other packages classes, you will be including this statement, else you can simply ignore it. The next section is import statement. This import statement is used to import Java APIs. Okay, so the general form of import is like this. Import is the keyword, so you should be using the import statement to include the predefined classes that Java provides. Then the package name and then the sub package name. There is a dot over here, so this is the syntax you should be following, and then finally the class name and a semicolon. So for example, I want to include a scanner class in my program. What is a scanner class? Scanner class is like scanf function that we will be using in C programming. Scanner class will get the input from the user. Okay, so scanner class will get input from user. So we will be needing scanner class. Whatever program we write, we will be using the scanner class. And scanner class is in the package util, and it is there in the package Java. Java is the name of the project. So you can also think that name of the project dot the package name, and this is the class name. Scanner is the class name. This class is there in util package. So to include scanner inside your program and to use it, you have to write this entire statement. For example, the util package is having many classes. Not only scanner classes, it is having many classes. Hundreds of classes it is having. So if you want to include all the classes in your program, like maybe you are using maximum of the util class packages, then you will be putting an star over here. So import java.util.star will import all the classes inside your program. Or if you are very specific about the class name, you can simply include the class name over here. So that is the use of the import statement, and this is also optional. I would just like to throw light on one very important point over here in this import section, that there is one package which is called as java.lang package. This java.lang package is one of the very important package which is by default included in every Java program. It is by default included. You needn't specifically write import java.lang.star, because this java.lang package is by default included in all the Java programs. Why it is by default included is because it is having all the fundamental classes that a Java program needs. For example, java.lang is having the object class, which is the parent of any class that you write. And also, in case if it is not extending any other class, then object is the direct parent of any class that you write. And also it is having another class which is called as class. And also it is having all the wrapper classes like integer, byte, float and all that. So java.lang is one very important package which is by default included in any Java program that we write. We needn't explicitly mention it in the program. Now coming to the next section. The next section is again optional. Whatever interface statements that you have, you can include them. Like you can say interface A or B, whatever you want, you can include them. This is also optional. If you want to include, you will be including it, else it's optional. The next one is class definition, wherein you can have multiple classes. Inside one Java program, you can have many classes. Like I can say I am having inside the program, I can say class A, and also I can have class B, and also I can have class C, and so on. So I can have multiple classes in a single Java program. So if you are having multiple classes, you will be declaring all these multiple classes over here. If you are just having one class, just declare only one class. Okay, so this is also optional. And the next one is very essential. You need to have at least one class in your Java program, because this is object-oriented programming language. You need to have, by syntax, you need to have at least one class in your program. And if you are having only one class in the program, that class should be having the main method. This is very essential. Okay, so for example, I am having one class. I am having only one class. Say I am having only one class. Okay, if I am having only one class, then inside this class I should be having this main method, which is public static void main. Public static void main, and which will be taking string array args, okay, into it. So this should be mandatory. Okay, so this is essential if you are having one class. And also you can have some other class, but even if it is not having any main method, it is okay. But you need to have one method, one class with the main method in it. Let us see an example and try to understand what is main method and what should be the access modifier of the class and all that. This is a very basic Hello World program. I have given the comments over here. So single line comment saying that this is simple Java program. Then this class is the keyword. So it should be lowercase. So it's case sensitive. Java program is case sensitive. So be very careful when you write the program. And then this is the name of the class. Okay, so the name of the class is test, and from here the definition of the class starts. Okay, and then inside this class I have written public static void main, and which is taking array of instances of the string class as input, and then this from this open bracket the definition of the main starts, and the main ends over here. Okay, and then the class definition ends over here. This is a very simple program, and we'll try to bisect it and see what is what. Now this main is a must. Okay, and the syntax that we are following for the main is must, but later on when we go deep into the language, then I'll tell you whether different forms of main are acceptable or not. But as of now, just understand that this is a syntax that you need to follow. And what does it mean by public? If I don't give public, your main will not be considered to be the main that JVM is looking for. So this syntax is very important. Public means that any JVM will be searching for main method to start execution. So this is the starting point or the entry point of execution. So who will be searching for this main method is JVM will be searching for the main method so that it can begin the execution of the program. If main method is not given, then JVM will be confused. So you will get runtime exception that main is not found. So it is always important that you include main in your programs. Now main, once it it is case sensitive, so this is all in lower case. So capital M, many students write capital M for main. So this is wrong. Have another method like this, but JVM will not look for this. JVM will look only for this to start execution. So what does it mean by public is, public means that every other classes can execute this main method. JVM, if it is public only, JVM can start executing it. If it is private, JVM cannot execute because the scope is not scope is only within the class. So that's the reason why main method is public. And the next is static. What does it mean by static? Static is any methods in Java can be accessed only through objects. But main method is the only one which is accessed by JVM before any objects are created in the program itself. So that is the reason main method is static, because that without object itself JVM can access the main method. If you are not giving it as static, you can have a main method without static, but it won't become the main method that JVM will be looking for. If your JVM will look only for the main method which is having this syntax. And next is void. Void means that it is the return type. The return type of the main method is void, because the main method after executing will return to JVM. So there is nothing JVM will be doing with the return type. So that's the reason why main method is void. You can have another main with some return type, but that is not the main method JVM will be looking for. JVM, I'm repeating this again and again so that you people will keep this in mind, that JVM will be looking for only this kind of syntax. And then these are the parameters inside the main method. The parameters inside the main method are the array of instances of the string class which are used to catch the command line arguments if there are any during the execution of the program. So they are used for command line arguments, to get the command line arguments if they are any present during the execution of the program. Next is this open bracket. I already told you that this is the bracket which will starting of the main method. Okay, so this will indicate that the main method is going to start from the next line. And inside this open bracket and close bracket, inside this method, you can create objects, you can do whatever you want. You can also have certain logical structures, anything that you want, you will be putting inside this main method. You can have n number of other classes as well, but there should be one class which will be having the main method. Hope everybody understood what is the main method. And now we'll see what should be the name of the program. So we have successfully written the program, and this program should be having a name. Okay, so this is your file now, and your file should be having a name. Now what should be the name of the file? Whatever is the name of the file, it should be having a .java extension. Now what should be the name? The name of the file can be anything. It needn't to be test. It can be anything. It can be whatever you want. I can simply say that name this program as a.java. It is okay. But the problem is that if you are having any public classes inside your program, okay, so if you are having any public class inside your program, then the name of the file should be named after the name of the class. For example, if this class is made public, okay, so if this class is made public, I said like I have public class test, then the name of the file cannot be a.java. This will result in some error. Okay, so your compiler will not accept it. So it should be named only after the name of the class. What is the name of the class? Test. So this should be named only as a test.java. I hope you understood. If it is not public, then you can name it whatever you want. To avoid this kind of confusion, we generally tell the students that the name of the file should be the name of the class in which there is main method. Say for example, I am having many classes. I can have another class over here which is A, and I can have another class which is D and all that. But I will be naming the class after the class which is including the main method. So the name of the file should be test.java. Okay, if it is not public class, it can be anything. I want this to be very clear. And the next one is, how many public classes can you have? Herein I am having 3 classes. I cannot make everything public. How many ever classes you have in your program? Say I am having 100 classes or 1000 classes in my program. But still there can be only one public class. There can be only one public class. This is the rule, and this is a bit also in the interviews. Okay, so there should be only one public class. And no public classes also. There can, it is not mandatory that you should be having at least one public classes. It's not like that. If you want, you can make one class to be public, else no classes as public. Okay, so this is regarding naming of your file. So the name of the file can be anything, but it is a good programming practice that you name it after the class name in which there is main method. So I have named it as a test.java. Okay, now how to compile it and execute it. If you are using IDEs, okay, so there are many number of IDEs available like NetBeans and Eclipse and all that. Okay, so you can use any of these IDEs, and the IDEs are very user friendly. So in there you will be having this compile button and then run button, and you can compile and run your program. Now coming to another way of compiling and executing your program, that is in the command prompt. Command prompt is a prompt which is like the DOS prompt, wherein you have to use only the keyboard for giving the commands. So you have to use commands to actually compile and execute your program. So to compile the program, okay, so to compile the program, what we have to do is say that this is my command prompt. To compile the program, you have to use the Java C compiler. So I'm writing Java C. This is the command I should use. Then there should be a space over here, followed by the name of the class, the name of the file. The name of the file is test.java. Okay, so this is how I compile the program. I'll say Java C space test.java, and then I'll be pressing the return key. If there are any syntactical errors or any problem with the structure or anything, then your compiler will throw you certain compile errors and you have to fix them before execution. For execution, there should not be any errors, any syntactical errors in your program. So say that the program has compiled. What will happen after this compile is, there will be .class files created. So inside, that's what is your bytecode. After compilation, there will be bytecode created. What is a bytecode? Bytecode is nothing but the name of the class. So it is a test.class files will be created. How many ever classes you have, for all that there will be .class files created. If I am having class A, I will be having a.class file also will be created. Since I am having only one class over here, there will be only one class file created, which is test.class. This test.class is nothing but the magic code, which is the bytecode. You can take this bytecode and run it in any other platforms. That's what is the magic of this bytecode. That's what is making Java platform independent. Now you have to execute the program. To execute the program, okay, so we have to use Java application launcher, which is nothing but your execution, like your JVM. So I'll say Java. So this is your Java application launcher, followed by name of the class. So I'm not saying name of the file. So please listen carefully that I'm saying followed by Java space followed by name of the class. So I should be telling just name of the class. So Java test. And when I press enter key or the return key, the program will execute and it will print hello world on the screen for me. Hello world on the screen. So these are the steps that you need to follow to execute. Okay. Now as I said, I just want to make it clear. Say for example, I named my class as a.java. Say that I named my class as my program. This is my source file or the file name. Say that I have named my file name as a.java. Okay. What will happen after this? So how do I compile it? How do I compile it? I am compiling it as Java C. Then I should be giving the name of the file. What is the name of the file? A. So I am saying a.java. Java C a.java. But still what will happen is it will give only test.class. Whatever is the name of your file, I already told you, if it is not public, then you can have whatever name you want for your file name. But the bytecode will be generated only for the class. Then the execution should happen only on this class name. You cannot say Java A. Okay, so that will be wrong. You cannot say Java A for execution because there is no .class file created for A. That is only the name of the file. So please be careful when you are executing the program. So hope you understood this. So the output will be hello world. Okay. So if you want to use scanner classes, then I just wanted to tell you about this system.out.println. Okay, so this system.out.println are the predefined classes that your API that is provided in your API. Okay, so system is the class name. Okay, so this class is there in your lang package. Since this is there in your lang package, we are not importing anything. But if you, I didn't import anything because by default lang package will be included in any Java program. So that's the reason why I didn't import this lang package. Out is the object name, okay, and then println is the predefined method. Okay, so this method will take argument and it will give that in the string format. So I have given hello world, and when I try to execute it, I'll be getting hello world. This is all about the basic structure of the Java program, my friends. Hope this video is helpful to you. Stay home, stay safe, happy learning. Bye.